And that's the reaction I saw on social media to ESPN's NBA coverage based on how NBC covered the sport last night. Because, wow, like ESPN hasn't even done a game this season, and they're already catching a lot of flack for how they cover the sport in a more negative light. And I think those are valid criticisms. It's stuff we've written about extensively at the site, especially last playoffs. I think Matt Yoder had a great column or two about ESPN's NBA coverage, and they're debuting tonight. We have Inside the NBA, which not known for its positivity, but they're making their ESPN debut tonight. Of course, you're going to get your fair share of Stephen A. Smith, another man not known for his positivity.
Are we?
Is it?
That's a
Well,
comparison I've seen made, and as far as I understand, he's going to cut back considerably on his NBA appearances, not only because of Inside the NBA coming to the network, but also with this new contract. It was well publicized that he's going to not be a fixture on NBA Countdown the way that he would have been. So I think, regardless of whatever else is happening, we were saying goodbye. Last year was Stephen A's last hurrah. Although I say that if the Knicks make a run, all bets are off. But I do think there will
well,
be a lot less of Stephen A this year.
I hope you're right, and that is true. That like there's going to be significantly less. We'll see how much that is. But even still, these
Yeah.
criticisms have been well documented for ESPN. Are they fair? And do you think after seeing how NBC proceeded in its presentation of the league last night, ESPN's going to try to strike a more similar tone to that? I don't think we're going to get changes from inside the NBA. That's still a TNT production. Maybe they see some of that criticism and become a little bit more positive. But I'm talking about NBA Countdown and then ESPN's game presentation. Like, is this going to be more effusive in its support of the league than it has been in the past?
So I think Tim Legler will go a long way with that. I think that Legler is much more basketball forward and much more shining a spotlight on the good things about every team, which there always is going to be something to say that's good. Um, so that should help. Not that Doris Burke didn't do those things, but I think Legler is even more effusive and kind of passionate and exuberant about all that stuff in a way that bleeds through the screen, in my opinion. I just think ESPN doesn't invest enough in the NBA. I don't really get it for something where they have the finals and it's clearly a marquee. I know they cut back a little bit on their inventory with this new package, but they have a ton of postseason. They do have a lot of regular season still, and the finals, like I said, and it just feels like where's the marquee personality? Where's the person that if you are thinking of ESPN and the NBA, you think of X, right? Like I think that used to be Zach Lowe, and for a lot of people, for maybe the more diehard NBA fans, he's gone. Kendrick Perkins, it may be to some, but not always in the most positive way. And a lot of the rest of the talent is pretty come and go. So
Oh,
I
well, they
think the
lost Bob
inside,
Myers, so that
yeah.
that
I
he's no
mean, but
longer
at
going to be
least
the
he's
face.
somebody people know
Right,
and did
that's
a good
fair.
job, in my opinion, right? So Woj is gone, even like it's
Is
it's
it
a little bit of a
Shams?
transition time, and I think the inside will help. But I don't think people really. I think people will just see inside as kind of its own kind of pirate ship doing its own thing that happens to be on ESPN sometimes, right? So I don't know. I think it'll continue to feel like a mishmash, and I think it'll continue to feel a little uneven because it is. And they don't seem to have like a solid answer for what they want it to look like.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Is like I don't think there is a directive from up top saying this is what we want the NBA on ESPN to look and feel like. I think there's a very clear vision at NBC, and that's
Yeah.
what we got from the moment they signed this deal to last night. Like we knew exactly what that vision was for NBC and how they were going to execute it. ESPN, we have none of that, right? Like we know who they're putting out there, we've known the talents, but in a lot of ways in the past, it's just been a vehicle for Stephen A. Smith to just extend First Take into NBA coverage. And we know, as we just mentioned, his presence is going to be a bit diminished. But like, I think that has kind of caused in a lot of ways that just that absence of vision from ESPN. And I don't know if they have an executive that is willing to go in there and change things. I forget who exactly is in charge of NBA production over there.
I believe it's Dave Roberts, okay, which is the guy, Stephen A's kind of very close coworker on First Take, and those two have kind of been hand in hand, which is part of why Stephen A was centered so much. At least, I don't report on these things, but that's what we know to be the case. And you would think somebody who's been so successful with other ESPN work would be a type of visionary on the NBA, but that's why I do kind of feel comfortable taking them on about just like the total investment. Is that kind of does seem to be part of it, is like, go out and get someone, go out and make a splash and bring a personality in who you can build your coverage around. And I don't know who that is right now.
Right. I mean, aside from licensing inside the NBA, they haven't made that splash, and it's kind of shocking, especially given all the analysts and play-by-play talent that were coming out of TNT. After they lost the NBA, and they didn't acquire any of those people.
Somebody like Jamal Crawford, right? TNT turned him into a star in like 2 years, and he was a hot commodity, and now is the number one guy at NBC. When's the last time anyone became that at ESPN? I mean, JJ Redick, and then he went to go coach a team. I guess you would say maybe that was a slip for them where he could have been in place. And obviously we had the Doc Rivers thing. Like, I get all those things have happened, but I don't think it's as hard as they make it look.
Yeah. One of the most telling things, Brendan, there's the second game of their doubleheader tonight is getting called by Jay Billis, like their lead college basketball analyst.
Crazy.
And I love Jay Billis, and I think he's good on the NBA, but it's like, this is a college basketball guy we're talking about. You could have, like you said, gone and gotten any of those TNT guys, a lot of which were picked up by NBC and Amazon, but they decided not to. And, of course, now you have Doris Burke taking the number 2 team, so you do have a strong analyst in that spot, but still, like,
and I mean, again, no criticism to these people. It's just a fact, very old. ESPN feels very old right now with a lot of the talent there, in a way that way more than the other new networks, right? Like Amazon, the average age is like 40 of all these new people that they hired. And at ESPN, it's like you got Inside the NBA, you got Legler, you've got Billis, Burke. Like, it's just a weird, it's not what you would want from the marquee NBA broadcaster.
Yeah, completely right.